Hello, my name is Cameron Nelson, and I help lead the go-to-market strategy for Rocketium. And today I have the pleasure of speaking with Jahnavee Ramalingam, and we're going to be talking all things design, how design has changed and shifted over the years. And so, Jahnavee, it's a pleasure to speak with you today, and would love to hear about your role in design and how you've seen that role really change over time.
Hey, Cam. Thanks for taking time out to chat. Yeah, I'm super excited to have this chat. So I actually started my career in advertising. I worked with BBDO. This is when, of course, there was no AI in the picture. There wasn't even like dedicated, I think, design tools. So we would do a lot of campaigns for like Snickers and pedigree and things like that. And I think the one of the biggest mindsets as a designer was to really think about the big idea first, and then nobody really thought too much about execution or is there any data behind did this work or not. It was just the loudest idea in the room that would get the most attention. From there kind of I moved into graphic design and marketing design for B2B SaaS, where I think it was a 360-degree change where you had to put out a lot of creatives and you had to really think about execution and scale, because if you're putting these out on ad campaigns or different platforms, they had to work across different formats for different audiences. So how do you have that one narrative but then also like customize it? And I think, of course, today a designer is less of someone who creates, these individual artifacts. I think they're more of a curator of possibilities because there's just so much noise out there. So I think the job of a good designer is to basically execute something with context, speed, and creative scale without, blowing everything up.
Yeah, totally. And so, eliminating all that noise, with all the speed, like what should be the focus? Where should we be aiming that, here in 2026?
I think one of the key themes of 2026 that I see in design, and I mean, even if you look at like something as simple as the Pantone color for this year, which is Cloud Dancer, right? Which is very about serenity, peace, calmness. I think I see two major kind of trend. I hate the word trends, but I see two major patterns. I think one is creatives and designers moving away from loud performative aesthetics. I think it's all about personalization. I think it's all about context, something that really works right down to one individual persona. So I think that's what designers are focusing on. I think the second is just the way designers are working themselves, right? Because there are so many tools out there, I think design will be less of a spotlight and more of a stabilizer. So if I'm taking 10 iterations to do something, how can I do something in four? How can I do something in two? And then eventually, how do I kind of collaborate to really get better outputs that are kind of backed by data, not just going with like gut intuition?
Yeah, definitely. And a couple of things you touched on there. The first thing is personalization and how do you achieve personalization at scale, ensuring that, the right person gets the right message, has the right feel for whatever tool that they're using. And then the second thing is, just around this whole shift around AI. And, what I'm hearing when I'm on the road and I'm talking to whether it's procurement folks, sourcing folks, or marketing folks directly, is that they have all these tools at their disposal, and it's almost like which tools do I choose? Am I going to have to learn this new tool? And so there's this feel of, if I can just get the outcomes, and whether it's using AI automation, having this personalized feel, I think that's going to be a really big shift in 2026. It's not necessarily how do we use tools, but how tools are going to be used themselves in a way, with agentic AI, and the ability for SaaS to kind of run itself in a way. So, yeah, I think some big shifts here in 2026. And while you're on the road and traveling, are you kind of hearing a similar sentiment, or what are you hearing?
Well, what I'm hearing on the road is that creative people are tired. Like they're really, really tired. Not because they don't have enough good ideas, right? I think the ideas are there. The ideas are just getting bigger and bolder. I think what I'm hearing is that you already have your traditional momentum killers, which is all of the manual grunt work, the back and forths, the reworks, all of that stuff. Now, adding on top of that is this other layer that you were talking about, which is there are so many different tools. I think a creative person on an average toggles between 8 different tools to get one single output. Imagine how much context switching that is, right? And throwing on top of that the learning curve you mentioned, some of these tools are maybe not really meant for collaboration. So then you have to bring it out into another tool just to collaborate. So what I'm hearing is creative people are really, really, really tired. And I don't think they're intimidated by AI. I think the kind of requirement has changed from I don't want Don Draper in a box. I don't want this magic button that I hit and then it just gives me something. I think creative people are looking at AI more as a collaborator, not a slot machine, right? And these are a couple of things that I heard talking to people, going to events and things like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's really interesting because that, brings up the, what is the role of the creative director, and, are they, responsible for ideation, strategy, execution? How is their role? How do you see it shifting, with all of these, need for personalization, all these tools that they're managing at once, and how is that shifting, especially as we go into this new agentic AI era?
Yeah, I think that's one of the cool things about Rocketium, where we're kind of taking a different approach to this whole thing, right? We're not doing the, hey, we're building this amazing, intelligent Don Draper kind of guy where you put in all the requirements and hit a button and he's going to throw something out at you. I think the way we're looking at it is if you look at a creative director, he is a curator of possibilities, right? There are multiple things that need to come together. You have your market research, you have all of your previous past data that's done well for this particular use case, you have really good copy, you have really good like visual style, and then you have this core idea itself, and at the end of the day you kind of have to present this to the end client and then get their feedback and then push out this amazing thing and then get better at it. So I think the way we're looking at it is this kind of universal creative surface that kind of matches wherever you want to be and then kind of just helps you eliminate all of the manual grunt work, gives you all of the data in one place, gives you something that's almost 90% there, so that as a user I can quickly iterate what I want, and I'm almost sitting at a table with multiple specialized agents, right? Like I have this art director I can call on, I have this creative director I can kind of brainstorm with, I have this copy guy who can just like kind of get better copy, and then maybe I can just kind of test this out with even an AI persona and see if it's going to work or not before I push it out. So I think we're kind of really embracing the whole Rocketium as a creative surface, so you can do any parts of this workflow rather than making it very restrictive or taking you through 8 different tools to get there.
Right. And I love what you said about, this not being some magic pill that you take and it's going to, solve all your problems, but that there needs to be that human in the loop, in that creative director role who's overseeing everything, from a high level, checking strategy, making sure that, we are, have this brand new ideation, being able to test different variants, so that we're making data-led decisions, and really getting as personalized as we can with our creative. So, with that, I know that you're creating your own creative director agent, if you will. So, would love to hear more about what you're building there and kind of how that fits into Rocketium and the market as a whole.
Yeah, absolutely. I think a lot of it is based on what I was just talking about before, right? Where if you look at a lot of the other tools out there, it's a little bit like you're throwing spaghetti at the wall, where you just kind of have to first think about a giant prompt to get to your end outcome because you have something in your head, and then you're just hoping that the tool can give you something. And then you're like, okay, if it's 40% then there, then you iterate, 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 and then it's kind of like going back and forth in the dark, right? So I think initially the approach that was taken was also like, yeah, why don't we have all of this data available to us. We have all of this amazing visual data, performance data. So maybe we can just kind of make the grunt work less as well, and then just give someone the ultimate creative. But then I think after testing it out with a lot of creative folks, we realized that that's not really what they're looking for, right? It's about, I want to get to this end point, But then I want to go through the normal steps that I go, because I think creative work itself is very nuanced. There's no one size fits all workflow. So I think the really interesting thing, and personally for me, the most challenging part was, how do you design a tool that is intelligent, um, but fluid enough to accommodate all of that? And I think that's where the concept of looking, and I think one of the core things that Rocketium has always focused on is, we're not here to take jobs, we're not here to replace creative people. We're just a creative multiplier, enabler, right? We take away the grunt work, but we let creative people still do the soul of creative work. And I think that's the same core philosophy we're applying to this as well. We don't want creative people to do this scavenger hunt of 8 different tools. We don't want them to switch context. We don't want them to go to someone else, ask them for the research, then slice and dice the data and do all of that manually. It's just about one holistic place where you can ideate, execute, go down the wrong path, figure out what's working, what's not working, collaborate, and then finally get to that end visual prototype, or that end visual. And if it took me like 9 iterations to get there this time, I'll get there in 5 the next time. So I think that's what we're kind of optimizing for.
Got it. And just to kind of push back on you there, just a little bit. But, as you mentioned, Rocketium, has always been, how do we eliminate that grunt work? How do we eliminate those redundant manual tasks that have just been, time consuming, essentially, taking scissors and, trying to cut the grass with it, as opposed to, using, Rocketium, which is more of a, a lawnmower, which will enable a lot more acceleration. But when it comes to this creative ideation, traditionally that's still been in the hands of the creative director. And so, if there was and when there will be this, creative director agent, I guess how are those two going to kind of work hand in hand, still enabling that freedom of creativity for the designers, so that, they still have that creative control. And we're not just giving it all to AI to then, AI is creating the creative and it's analyzing the creative, and it's kind of like the secular snake eating its own tail. How do we avoid that situation?
Right. So I think the way we're looking at it is, it's not, again, just one agent, right? I think Rocketium itself is this beautiful, intelligent, complex system, and there are multiple levels of this intelligence as well. There's intelligence on a global scale, like what are competitors in the space, what are industry trends. Then there is a very personalized intelligence, which is all of the creatives that you yourself have put out. But I don't think the agent's going to come in and kind of give you those those grains of ideas. I think it's going to be a curator of possibilities, where it takes all of these data points and says, these 3 buckets are most likely to work, right? This combination of this copy with this image, and here are the insights to prove it. But I think me as a user is the one who's finally going to use those data points to bring my vision to life. So I think we're very, very focused on it not being a black box, and we're also focused on the user being the driver always, not the passenger princess.
Right, right. So it sounds like what you're saying is, traditionally we've always worked off of a blank canvas and been able to, create our own masterpiece, put it into Rocketium, have it scale it out. But now
Yeah.
we kind of have this, play where, you can start with a blank canvas, or you can start with multiple ideas, and you can turn that into your own being and bring that, to life. So I think that that's a really nice, mixture there. Any, final thoughts on, where creative is headed, the role of the creative director, anything at all?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of buzzword soup going out there, and I think there's also a lot of negativity floating around, saying that people are intimidated by AI, especially creative folks. Like I said, I don't think that's the case at all, right? I think creative people are always open to try new things if it helps them get more time back, if it helps them kind of get better outputs. The only thing is, they're really looking at a tool that is a collaborator, and more than a collaborator, something that evolves with them, right? Something that's fluid enough to work with them. It doesn't take too much out of their day to kind of learn it, understand it, use it. Something that really fits in with their workflow and kind of multiplies how they can scale creative work, I guess.
Definitely. And, I'll just kind of piggyback on that. I mean, um, with the advent of agentic AI, where generative AI has always been kind of, this fun new tool, it hasn't been production ready. It hasn't been able to, put live ads out there that are too brand. But now with this agentic AI, utilizing software instead of people, it really creates this nice combination of creativity while also maintaining brand compliance, and being able to scale it out without sacrificing quality. So, Jahnavee, I want to thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. It was an absolute pleasure, and look forward to speaking with you again soon.
Yeah, absolutely, Cam. Have a great day.